Good to have you here, Joe Buck, in person, sir.
Good to be here. I love it here. I love your little neck of the woods. It's impressive. It gets bigger. It gets more interactive every time I come here. There are more games. It's like a Chuck E. Cheese.
Well, you know what? Without the cheese, right?
Without the cheese and without Chuck.
I know. I'm not even. Nobody even calls
like
me
you
that.
should have an animatronic band over there of
Can we
weird
work on
things
that?
moving, making awful music.
Yeah. By the way, that's what those guys are animatronic over there.
yeah.
Chris and Mike are kind of animatronic. I
Well,
don't know if you've realized that.
Chris looks fantastic. Whoever made Del Tufo is way off because he doesn't look like that.
Well, that's the Cletus version of Del Tufo over there.
Good. The
Yeah,
intimidating, gigantic,
Exactly.
stomp around Del Tufo.
Is Cletus Desieg still exist?
I-
You don't
No,
notice
I'm not
these things.
sure.
You just
Yeah.
call the game.
I just call the game. I'm there for the X's and O's. I'm there for the first downs and touchdowns.
You know what? It's funny.
Robots not on my watch.
It's funny having done Thursday Night Football for about 12 years before, you surfed in, and the first two games are absolutely fantastic, ridiculous, off the charts. The first game was a points extravaganza between Cincinnati and Baltimore, which, by the way, as you know, never is.
Right.
Never is.
Yeah.
Dalton's throwing touchdowns like it's a Sunday afternoon, not like it's a Thursday night.
I know. He's usually he's struggled in prime time. Let's say that.
Until you showed up.
Well, I don't think I have anything to do with it. Maybe it's Aikman. Maybe it's the little Fox banner that shows up, and then the crazy game that we had in Cleveland.
That was unbelievable.
That was like a Super Bowl. And being in that stadium was one of the coolest feelings I've had. I don't know. Is it ridiculous to say in my career? Because it just was like there was such a relief and there was so much excitement just that this guy, we finally got the guy and he delivered and he looked good doing it. It wasn't like he just lucked into a win. I mean, he made it happen.
And you called Indians World Series games in Cleveland.
Yeah.
So you've been in Cleveland for some euphoric.
And they blame me for the Indians losing to the Cubs. Somehow it's Aroldis Chapman and me.
Yeah,
It's always your fault. It's always your fault.
Always the guy calling
it's
it's
always your
fault. The problem is I call it more than other people call it. So therefore it's usually my fault.
So Mayfield coming in, I'm sitting at home. I felt it through the television set. What in the world was it like in that stadium?
Well,
when he came in?
we talked about it early because it felt like the sand was running out of the hourglass for Tyrod Taylor because he really wasn't playing well. Then he goes down and he gets hurt, so it's coming. But I wonder what the story would have been had he not gotten hurt, and how many more series he would have had. I think he was about finished anyway, and then Mayfield comes in, and you could just feel this swell of emotion. But then you see him play and watch him throw it. I was not aware. I didn't see him a ton in college. I was not aware that he had that kind of velocity, that he had that arm strength, the way he was, really slinging it into tight spots. He's a leader type, a rah-rah guy, and the tools to back it all up.
And then, the button pushed to have, I guess, the Cleveland special called for him to catch the touchdown. Now, that's the way to fire
That's
the crowd
Todd
up,
Haley.
too.
I think if the nation learned anything during Hard Knocks, it was how kind of funny and irreverent and whatever Todd Haley is. And he ends up, running the same type play that Philly ran in the Super Bowl, and he catches right here. He catches a touch. This is just good action by you guys. This is a 2-point conversion.
There it is.
That ties the game. And,
From a lefty throwing Jarvis Landry.
Yeah, who knew that?
I mean, the whole thing, it really was just incredible to watch and unfold. And the Jets just didn't have the pass rush to get at him. I mean, it's amazing how football and I guess sports in general works, is that 13 days before, or just not even 10 days before in Detroit, they were the Harlem Globetrotters.
Right.
And then that night they were the Washington Generals, just like playing along with the narrative.
So we get a review of our games by some unnamed producer that sends us a review of all of our games. And the criticism of us internally was that it became a Brown-centric broadcast. And I think there's some truth to that. At the end, you walk out of there and you go, man, did we even talk about the Jets? Because once Baker Mayfield came in, it was like you're counting down the time until Mayfield comes back out on the field Meanwhile, you got Sam Darnold and all that he brings in the Jets offensively. So I'm sure Jets fans blame me that they lost that game, and we didn't talk enough about the Jets. But I think they're right if they had that complaint.
Well, speaking on behalf of all Jet fans, you bastard, Joe.
Yeah, I know. Sorry.
Well, you're a lucky bastard. That's the name of your book, right?
I am. And someday, bless you, someday I would love to see my book up there with Al Michaels. I mean, has Al Michaels been on as many times as I have? I don't think so. Does Al Michaels have pictures of you and Susie when we both had more hair in front of a birthday cake? I don't think so. No. This is your show. Are they in charge of their little nook over there?
Yes, he is in charge of his little nook over there.
Being at my first show on Fox Sports Net, I mixed Joe, called Going Deep. I think you should send me one autograph to me, and I'll put it right in front.
So it has to be a freebie. Did Al send you that?
No, of course. No, he got it free. Yeah. He got it free when Al came on the show.
Joe, I'm the king of free.
Yeah, come on. You think that now is anything that you're wearing right now something you paid for?
Pants.
Anything.
Pants.
See?
There you go.
Does that make you feel better?
How do we even know he's wearing pants?
By the way, you're not wrong.
Okay.
You are absolutely not wrong.
I'm not even sure my book's in print anymore. No, but if there are any, I'll send you one.
There you
Michael.
go. No, hold on a second, Joe.
Joe.
Joe Buck, it's something you said that I want to pick up on. So some producer at Fox writes up a critique of the Thursday Night Football broadcast. You do not know who this person is?
Do not.
It's sort of like
I think anonymous... it's great. If I were running a network, I'd do the same thing because, as you know, rarely, or maybe when you do a studio show, it's different. But when you do a game, it just kind of comes and goes, even a Super Bowl. And you don't know. There's no scoreboard. Nobody says, hey, you really great game today, you won. You just kind of leave. And when somebody bothers to watch the game, they're critiquing all of it, from the music placement to the graphic to Troy, whatever his comment was, or Aaron down in the field. I love it because it gives you feedback, and most of the time it's from somebody inside the business that gives you something that you can really learn from.
And now you're here in Los Angeles. Big game. This is a huge one, Week 4. Now, this is the one that's on Fox, NFL Network, and Amazon Prime. Yeah. You get the whole triple cast for the first time on Big Fox.
It's like the Olympics.
Right. So this Rams team is ridiculous offensively.
Unbelievable. I mean, they're loaded. And then you look at the defense, and they bring in Sue and Peters and Talib, and they can fit all this in, and they can re-up Aaron Donald, and they can, sign Cooks to a contract extension. So, they went through that period where they really had to get rid of some players, and now they've built it up. I mean, if they're not the best team in the NFC, I don't know who is. And right now, after 3 weeks, you're looking at Kansas City and the AFC that just looks like world beaters, and the Rams in the NFC, but we've got a Vikings team coming into this game that's so good defensively, coming off one of the most head-scratching games I've ever witnessed. We were doing a game, or we were kind of getting ready for a game, and that score came in. I was like, what? Mm-hmm. How is that possible? But, good for Josh Allen, good for the Bills, and I know from reading the clips that these Vikings are ready to get back out there and kind of get that taste out of them.
Yeah, I mean, that was unreal. And Cousins was turning the ball over. The Bills were all over them. LaShawn McCoy didn't even play. The Vikings looked nothing like the Super Bowl contenders that we thought they were, and that they did look like for the first 2 weeks of the season. And now they're coming in, and there is no Talib or Peters for Thursday Night Football as they are hurt. So maybe this is a Diggs-Thielen situation on Thursday night.
I think it better be. I think if you go into a game against the Rams, you better be able to put up some points. I mean, they're over 30 each of the first 3 weeks. I just don't see anybody shutting them down. They're going to have to limit them, the Vikings, and they're going to have to try and match them on the scoreboard, which I think they can do. Like you said, injuries, and I'm anxious to see Cousins play in purple.
And you have seen the Cowboys play twice now, the opener against Carolina, and then the one that you just referenced, the game where you were seeing that score come in Seattle with the Cowboys and Seattle. Having seen them and sitting next to Troy, what is their malfunction to be 1-2 after what we saw Sunday night as well?
It's the offensive line. I mean, I know that they don't have the dynamic guy on the outside. Des Bryant's gone, Jason Witten's gone, doing the stuff over the middle, and they miss those guys. But they miss those guys when they were in their prime. Certainly more Des than Jason. I think Jason kind of went out on top. But when you lose Travis Frederick, the center, who's the all-pro in the middle of all that, and then you have a rookie at left guard who, can play and is good but is going to get better, there are holes on that offensive line. So there's not as much room for Elliott to run. They're not really protecting Dak Prescott, who's trying to find guys to get open. So to me and to Troy, that offensive line has gone from the best in the NFL, now because of this situation with Travis Frederick with Guillain-Barré syndrome, which is, an autoimmune disease. They don't know when or if he'll come back. So it's that to me is the central problem.
And then now you start mixing baseball in with the NLCS. Is that what it is? Or the NLDS?
No, the NLCS. So I don't do baseball till the NLCS and then the World Series. And in both, the travel days Thursday. So I'll mix football back in during the travel days. So it's going to be a crazy month of October. Good time to have 5-month-old twins. They're going to look at me like, I'm sorry, you're who?
You're who?
And we've got a routine. Please leave.
No, well, they'll see you on TV.
Yeah.
They'll pop you on TV. Just make sure they don't think Troy's their dad. That's all.
Well,
or Smoltz.
There's so many jokes that I could.
I know that. I don't even know why I said that.
Yeah.
Broncos at Cardinals.
What if Troy is their dad? Well, think of the possibilities. Michelle's a great athlete.
Yes.
Troy is, a #1 overall pick in 1989.
Yeah.
One of these two boys or both could be incredible athletes. I think I would accept that.
But do they? And you could tell this right now. Do they have a good set of pipes? You could tell that right now.
One of them cries like you can't believe.
Okay.
The other one's just kind of looking at me like, dance clown.
So having these boys anywhere as you have, has anybody blamed them for anything that was not their fault publicly?
No, not yet.
So maybe they're not your children.
Could be.
You know what I'm
saying?
saying?
I think there are a lot of questions. We've raised more questions than come up with answers on this appearance on the Rich Eisen show. That's sad.
That's what happens here. So I'm taking a look on October 18th. That's an NLCS, the Thursday date. Arizona at Arizona. So
the Diamondbacks are not. They're slip sliding away right now.
Very good reference there for Paul Simon. And then the Houston Texans. There you go. That's during the World Series potentially, right?
Yeah.
The Dolphins at the Texans is a Thursday night game.
This could be Deion Sanders 2.0.
Get in that helicopter.
Get in the helicopter. Just land, go do the game. I did that once in San Francisco. I did a 49er game and then took a trolley car.
Come on.
I did. This happened in 2012 to a baseball game and did the Giants-Cardinals in the postseason. And we're on this trolley, and Fox is shooting it like it's a police chase, like it was like the O.J. Simpson thing on the highway.
the slow
but
speed
the trolley car is going, and I talked to the driver. I'm like, does this thing only go 6 miles an hour? And he's like, no, it goes up to 50. I said, well, the game's about to start. Hit it. And finally, we started going. We had a police escort that wouldn't do anything because they were scared about the look of having a police escort for me going to the game. So I got into the booth literally within 10 minutes of the first pitch.
So there was a police escort with you on a cable car trolley in San Francisco,
doing
California,
nothing, going
at some point.
6 on the highway. Yeah, you don't remember this? You remember everything.
I don't.
And you don't remember this? There's video
this,
of it somewhere.
I'm sure that we can scrounge
it up. It's really
up.
not compelling.
I mean, what is it? You must have felt like totally ridiculous.
I felt like a complete jerk. And then I'm walking through the Giants fans. They think I hate the Giants because they're playing the Cardinals. I'm like putting my coat over my head, dodging things and running for my life. Got to the booth breathless. I fling the door open. McCarver's looking at me like, thank God you finally made it in here.
Yeah.
And then I look in the corner of the booth, and Darren Sutton's sitting there in a coat and tie like.
Drop the mic.
He was waiting as the stand-in if I didn't make it.
Yeah.
And I made it within 10 minutes of the first pitch, and I look over. I didn't even know that part. They didn't tell me that. And I look over, I'm like, oh, hey, Darren, how are you?
They had him there, huh?
They had him there. I was proud of Fox that they had a plan B.
He was like, why am I blanking on Peyton Manning's backup right now?
Jim Sorgi.
No, in Denver. Do you remember? Big, tall dude that goes nowhere. Osweiler.
Yeah.
Why am I blanking? Remember Osweiler thought he was coming to the game one time but Manning was out?
Right.
Hurt,
It's like
and then
he took 2 steps.
And then he threw his helmet down.
Yeah. In this case, it was just like he
Blanco's
ripped
name.
his tie off and walked out of the booth.
Yeah,
So-
Fox called it part Steve McQueen, part Rose Bowl parade.
Just get off the internet, will you?
You wanted me to look it up. Shut up. I mean, what do you?
Shut up. How do you do these guys get a mic now?
No, they do.
I know.
That's the
They've always had a
animatronic part.
mic. I'm just kidding. Yeah, it was not. Let's just say it didn't deliver the big bang they thought it would deliver.
I mean, here's video of you. You're in the front seat with the trolley driver. Got an MLB crew following
Look
you
at
around.
that.
Yeah.
There's traffic.
It's like the worst.
there's traffic.
Yeah.
There's not supposed to be traffic.
It's the worst Benny Hill opening
yeah.
ever. He's the little yakety sax. So you got Vikings at Rams this Thursday.
Yeah.
Colts at Patriots the following Thursday. There won't be
Interesting.
won't be any discussion of the footballs in that pregame or throughout that game, right?
Oh yeah, no, there will be
Tell
none.
me that just dawned on you, Colts at Patriots, that it was Deflategate
Yeah,
possible.
I don't think about that.
You
kind
go
of
week to
stuff.
week? Is that
I
what
go,
it is? You only
I'm
take it
going
one at a
day
time?
by day. Whoever sang that, day by day.
Eagles at Giants, Broncos at Cardinals, Dolphins at Texans. I would dare say now it's a game.
Yeah, now it's a game.
Godspell, Joe. That was Godspell who
Yes.
sang
Was
day
it?
by day.
Very good.
Yeah.
Do you want to answer before we let you go? Though it's One Hit Wonder Day, National One Hit Wonder Day.
Okay.
Do you have your favorite one hit wonder?
I still think the greatest song of all time is "We Built This City," but I don't know that
That's
they're
not-
really one-hit
No,
wonder.
But
that's
Stars,
not a one hit.
well, unless it's
But
is
it was
Starship different
multiple
than Jefferson
versions of the
Starship?
same band.
Yeah, I know.
And by the time they got to putting out "We Built This City," they were that was it.
That's true.
Nothing's gonna stop us now, though. It's the same.
Starship. It's just you
That's
remember
when they were
that
Starship. We built this city.
I'm
nothing's
not
gonna
getting
stop us.
into this.
Joe Buck with a two-hit
Argument.
wonder as we go out the door.
A two-hit wonder.
Jefferson Airplane. Then they were Jefferson Starship.
and then
they
just
were
flat out
just
Starship.
and now they're
Yeah.
Because
ship.
evidently Jefferson left, right? Whoever that was.
Joe Buck, good to see you.
It's good to see you.
Thanks
It's good
for
to see
coming.
all you guys.
Good to see you, Joe.
I'm
Send
glad
the
your
best-
head's a normal size.
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh my God.
It's almost that time of year where they just
I know.
blow it up and take a screenshot of their TV and
Why
this
do people
massive.
do that?
I don't know. Why do people look at that stuff on the internet? You son of a, and then bring it up on you.
Yeah.
Always
Part
looking out
Steve
for you,
McQueen,
Joe.
part Rose Bowl parade.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.